Hello, welcome to spring semester. My name is Dr. Kayla Steltenkamp. I'm the director of the special ed programs here at Georgetown College, and I just want to welcome you guys and go over a few important things. First of all, I am here for you as a support if you need me. Always go to your professor first to ask questions, but of course if you have anything that you are not sure about or you haven't heard back from your professor and it's something that you think I could help with, feel free to email me. And just some general things, since we've had some changes over the past, I just wanted to be the one to explain those to you, because I think sometimes when professors are just the messengers, students get upset with them, and we are all simply the messengers. So some of these things are things that have been passed to me that I'm sharing to you, or I've been sharing to your professors, but I thought maybe it would just be easiest as the director to welcome all of our grad students, introduce myself if you've never had me as a professor, and sort of go over these important messages. So first and foremost, you will notice that we switched from Moodle to Canvas. Canvas is a wonderful platform. I love it. I used to use it when I taught at Northern Kentucky University, and I think you guys are going to love it. It's much more intuitive for the students and for the teachers. But be patient. A lot of our teachers have not used Canvas, and I know the students haven't either. So it'll be a little bit of a transition to get used to on both ends. So be transparent and be communicating with your professor. If you're trying to upload something and you can't figure it out, email the professor right away and just say, hey, I'm trying to get this uploaded. Things like that. Also, YouTube Canvas questions, there's lots and lots and lots of YouTube support out there. So if you're trying to figure out how to upload a video and it won't upload, check that out. We, of course, still use live text for our major assignments, so you'll still need to figure out how to navigate that as well. But Canvas will be our primary way to hold our classes. Now, Moodle will be taken down, your access to Moodle, and you will only have until about the second week of January. So if you've taken classes in the past and you have used assignments in Moodle that you didn't save to your cloud drive, or you don't know where they're saved, if you want to get in and get those assignments out, I would suggest you do that right now. Within the next 2 weeks. Okay, the next thing is Zoom. Some of you have done some Zoom classes, some of you haven't. If you are students that have been here for a while, you might remember the chat rooms that we used to do online, and we no longer use those chat rooms. Obviously, now we're in Canvas, so we don't even have that choice. And we've moved to Zoom. Now, these have been very, very successful. Our professors are holding a Zoom session. They're optional, but you may have to be required to either attend it live or watch it later. And this is just an opportunity to be more interactive. I think sometimes when we take online classes, we feel solo, like we're on an island just navigating through this course on our own, and we don't want you to feel like that. So our professors are on Zoom, both for course sessions sometimes if they post that, and also all of our adjuncts have office hours on Zoom. So if you ever have a question, look up their office hours and send them an email and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you during office hours, and you can have a face-to-face conversation, through Zoom, with your professor. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to meet your professor, introduce yourself, ask some questions, whatever it might be. So take advantage of that, because it's really a way that we can be more interactive as an online course, but we're still here to support you, and so we don't want you to feel like you're alone. Another thing that's very different this semester for everybody is these weekly check-ins. So your professor will have something that you have to do on Canvas on the same day every week. Now, it is going to be something simple, like it could be a true-false quiz. I am here this week, true or false. It's not graded. It doesn't have to be graded. I guess I should say that. Some of your professors might use a quiz or something like that, but it will have to be done on the same day every single week. So if your professor chooses Monday as the check-in day, then you have to make sure that you get on every Monday and do at least that check-in thing, whatever your professor decides it's going to be. It might be on Sunday, it might be the end of every week, and so every Sunday you have to make sure that you're logging in and doing the check-in. And I know this is very different. The reason being is, as some of you know, if you have ever gone more than like 14 days, I think it is, without participating, you get an email from Dr. Haskell that says you're not participating, and if you don't participate, we need to drop you. And we've just had a lot of issues with, for example, somebody might be proactive and turn all their assignments in on Monday one week, and then they've had a busy week and they turn it in on Sunday the following week. Well, that's almost 2 full weeks that you haven't necessarily participated. So you've done your work, you've done it on time, everything's fine in terms of you and the professor, but the way that it looks for Georgetown College in general, because they only pull the analytics, is that you haven't been on. And so now what they've done in terms of the college and financial aid, and there's all sorts of things, what we've been asked to do is to have a weekly check-in. So the same day every week, your professor is going to have something you have to do, something simple, should be at least, and you have to do it on that day. So I would just suggest setting a reminder on your phone or something like that that says, don't forget to check in today, because if you don't check in, your professor will reach out to you and say, hey, I need you to get online and do this assignment, or whatever they put on there. So that's new, and I just want to say once again, this is not your professor coming at you and saying you've got to do it every week. This is me as the director sending a message from above that this is new. So if you're frustrated about that, don't shoot the messenger. Anyways, and then the very last thing that I want to reiterate, I know that this is getting to be a little long, but I do think it's important that we talk about this, are grades and due dates. So we've been having a couple of issues, special ed wide, about when things are expected to be due and late assignments and things like that. So I want to let you know that as a department, as a whole, here at Georgetown College, the syllabi is what we go with for all classes. Your syllabus in your class will give a late assignment expectation. Most of them should say, or do say, no late assignments will be accepted without prior approval with the professor. Even then, there are significant decreases in your grade. And that should be followed to a T. So there might be opportunities where your professor allows you to have a couple of extra days, and they might post that. But if they didn't post something like that, it's your responsibility as a student to reach out to the professor and say, hey, this assignment's due on Sunday. I've got 5 IAPs to do on Friday and a basketball game, and I'm the head basketball coach, and my daughter was just born, and I just got out of the hospital with my wife, and whatever's happening in your life, right? But you have to be proactive, and I know that that's hard, and sometimes life gets busy. It's a quick email that you just have to shoot off to your professor to say, hey, I recognize that this is due tonight. I also recognize that I am not going to be able to get it done. So is there any way I can have an extension? Now they might not, and that's their prerogative between you and the teacher. Of course, I would suggest you reach out a few days in advance if you need extended time. But if you do not reach out to your professor and you do not turn it in, that professor does not have to take that assignment. It should be a 0 and move on. Some of our professors in the past have been very kind and allowed you to turn it in late, but from here on out, we are very strict about that due date. So it is due when it is due, and if you have not turned it in, it is a 0. Simple as that. If you reach out prior to the due date and talk to your professor about that, and you come up with an alternate arrangement for a due date, then that's between you and the professor. But I've been asked a few times this semester to mediate some situations between students and professors, and the first thing I do is go back to the syllabus. And usually the syllabus says no late assignments will be accepted, and that's that then. So I just want to remind you as a student, if a due date is a due date, turn it in. If your professor gives you a 0, I'm going to support that they give you a 0, because I have started doing it myself. And I feel bad. We are all busy people. I started my doctorate when my oldest was 6 months old, and he's now 7, and my youngest is 2. So I have a 7, 6, 4, and 2-year-old, and I did my whole doctorate program while having kids and raising kids, and I was working full-time as a special ed teacher. So I know the stresses of being a grad student, being a parent, having sick kids, having 1,000 IEPs too. I've been there. So I get that it can be stressful, but my point to you is communicate that with your professors before the due date. We've just gotten into this really big habit, I think, of grading, giving like a little bit of flexibility to students. And so this semester we're changing a lot of things. We added Canvas. We're continuing Zoom, but some professors are going to do that more often. Weekly check-ins and no late assignments unless you've had prior approval. So if you have any questions or concerns, talk to me. Your professors oftentimes were not the ones to create these new rules or procedures. So if you're concerned or you have questions or you need to vent or you want clarification, shoot an email to me. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Sometimes, once again, I'm just the messenger. But anyways, this is almost 10 minutes, so I'm gonna get off of here. But I wanted to just welcome you, and I wanted to be the one to explain some of these new procedures. So have a great semester. I know that you guys are all wonderful students. I can't wait to see the work that you continue to do. And reach out to your professors, visit them, meet them during their Zoom office hours. We are here for you. So don't feel like you're alone. Don't get stressed out. Just reach out and say, hey, I need some help, or hey, I need some clarification. So anyways, have a great semester, and I will support you soon. See you later.